The Making a Difference Fund started in July 2010, and we have a period of 3 years to try to make a difference in New Zealand in terms of people's perception of disability. We have a selection panel that reviews all of the applications, and they're looking for projects that have a strong local community flavour, that are collaborative, and that have a chance of succeeding as social change projects. The purpose of these 3 days is really to look at the local community initiatives. We have 26 organizations coming from around the country to start sharing their stories about how they're making a difference around people's perception of disability across New Zealand.
We want to work with really big brands who are making a massive difference for people with disabilities. My dream for our big, massive meetup is to have more people working together and making a bigger difference in our society and living life to the max.
The difference I'd like to make is to actually have a larger community of people who are signing and able to communicate with each other. And if we could all learn to sign, then they wouldn't have a disability at all.
The aim is to improve customer service for people with disabilities in our community, and ultimately it's just to have a happy, healthy society where everybody's treated equally.
What we're interested in is the whole concept of dance. We've got many, many people out there who dance, and within that, many disabled people who want to dance. And empowering them to believe that if they want to dance, they can dance, and they have a right to dance.
What we're trying to achieve is to create awareness of disability and for people with disabilities to have the courage to stand up and be themselves. You deserve a rest. You can sit down now.
The project that we're looking at doing is a giant photography exhibition. The idea is to show actually the beauty of each person individually rather than focusing on their disabilities.
I'd love to see no bullying in our schools. I want to have a forum where kids can actually think about their values around people that are different.
I guess the big hope for me is that we see more of our Māori Pacific people at the table, right from community up through to governance levels, through to national issues, and that our people are actually fully engaged and taking their roles up as the leaders that they are.
I've come in for some advice about employment issues.
What a beautiful dog. What an absolute... You are so lucky to have such a beautiful dog.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, look at him.
I hope for the future that there will be an appropriate legal service that provides education and information and, where appropriate, advocacy for people with disabilities.
My hope and my dream to see is that people will be included into church services and that the church will actually recognise that they will be blessed in return.
I lived a real hard life growing up. There was no communication, there was no sign language, not a thing. I look at that funding as something for what the people need and require. Whatever it is that's going to make marae more accessible for our iwi Māori with disabilities.
This project is to help people in the north, in Ngāpuhi, to access our marae. It's been a bit of a stepping stone for some of them, but they're doing really well.
We launched a campaign that was going to work primarily with Māori communities, how to change some of the language among te reo, and how we could help marae to make their marae more accessible and more inclusive.
Our hope and dreams is really about progressing from where we are now so that it makes it easier for our people to access services, access the marae.
The reason why I set up these workshops is I've got a daughter who's 11 with Down syndrome who has difficulty with speech. We taught her New Zealand Sign Language as a small child. What I've seen with her is her growth and her independence. So I wanted to do these workshops so that parents and families and professionals, they really got that communication is the key to anything to be able to go forward.
I guess the ethos, the vision of Greenways Trust is to provide employment And we've seen the development of those people and the recognition that the public is giving them. So the self-esteem, all of that is great, and the public perception is really increasing.
What we hope will be the outcome of this project is that people will feel empowered to be able to start a process. Inclusion is not a state, it is a process, so you're constantly working towards being inclusive.
We hope to have our own creative centre one day in Auckland that is hosted by people with disabilities, and it really celebrates the strengths that people with disabilities have, and we break down those stigmas about disabilities and celebrate abilities.
We are very hopeful that people of Asian background should enjoy optimal quality of life and well-being in New Zealand, and we want to develop that culture within the community through this project.
One thing that I would like to see is for our community to start thinking about how we are unique. Everyone's unique, but we're just a little bit more unique. My dream is to begin a new conversation about uniqueness, about access, about the fact that everybody changes in their function throughout their life.
Only 15% of people with disability are employed in New Zealand. So the target is to get those people into work. So meetings today, we're getting the message out that there's something there that the disability sector has to take up.
There's a lot of expertise and a lot of untapped expertise in our community. And the wonderful thing about the Making a Difference Fund is there's been an acknowledgement and a real, genuine recognition of that, and a freedom to do that work and be really innovative about it.
I've found today invaluable because I think we've all shared our vision, and really we all have the same vision. That is that we become an inclusive society. I think for us to network with each other, it's just an invaluable tool, really.
There's this great quote by Margaret Wheatley, which talks about there is nothing so powerful as a community that discovers what it cares about. So let's discover what those things are that we care about. Let's find other people that also care, and then together build it, and suddenly things will just multiply and take off in the most unbelievable ways.
What we're looking for is that for people who have been running these projects to feel like they're part of a community of change. There's a lot going on and there is a lot of change happening. Seeing that momentum going is just fantastic, because those projects and those people will be around a lot longer than we will be.